Okay, so you're going to the Seychelles, or usually referred to as just Seychelles, and you're planning on exploring the islands that they have to offer. But what's the best way to stay connected in Seychelles? Well, you know it, getting a local SIM card. But what do you need to know? There's so much information about getting a SIM card in Seychelles. Well, just for you and everybody else watching this video, I made this guide with 10 things you need to know about, well, 10 things actually, you need to know about buying a SIM card in Seychelles. So let's just get started, shall we? Hi! It's Odu from Phone Travelers here, where we talk about everything related to traveling with your phone, related to local SIM cards, international SIM cards, mobile hotspots, and phone travel tips. So just everything related to traveling with your phone. And today we're going to focus on Seychelles, which is a very popular travel destination, and it's understandable because the water is nice and blue, the islands are beautiful, it's just a beautiful place to be. But what is not beautiful is getting a very expensive roaming bill after visiting Seychelles, because roaming can be super expensive. And if you're wondering, well, why is roaming so expensive? Well, this video will explore the truth. Well, not really explore the truth, but it will just tell you why. But for now, let's just focus on Seychelles. In this video, we'll focus on just the basics first, because first we need to know what operators there are there. I will tell you which SIM cards are the best and what type of packages are offered as well, and just a few other stuff related to SIM cards in Seychelles. So let's start with number one, the foundation, which is which SIM cards or which operators are available in Seychelles. Well, we have two operators. We have Airtel, Airtel Seychelles, and Cable and Wireless Seychelles. Well, if you have been to other countries in Africa, or if you're from other places in Africa, then you know that but then you know that Airtel is a big player in Africa, so they are active in Seychelles as well. Cable and Wireless, they are also active, not really in Africa, mainly in the Caribbean, but then they use another name called Flow. But yeah, number two, where can you actually get your SIM card in Seychelles? Well, you can go to the official stores of these operators, so Airtel or Cable and Wireless, and you can also pick up your SIM card from the booths at the airport, Victoria Airport, or actually also called Seychelles International Airport, I think. But at the airport they both have booths, so Airtel and Seychelles, and they sell their SIM cards for 100 SCR, which stands for Seychellois Rupee, if pronounced correctly, or just say SCR, that's easy to say. And they also sell the SIM cards for the same price at the airport. In the past, you could get a free SIM card when flying into Seychelles. That promotion has discontinued for a while. They might be doing it again, or not ever again at all, but just be aware that you have to pay 100 SCR to buy a SIM card. So number three, SIM card registration regulations. Well, if you have been to other places in Africa or many places in the world actually, you know that you have to register yourself when buying a prepaid SIM card in many countries. The same applies in Seychelles. So make sure to bring your passport with you when you go to an Airtel showroom or Cable and Wireless store, if you're not doing so at the airport, because otherwise they cannot sell you your SIM card. And this always brings the privacy question about, well, is my data safe and stuff like that. So number four is, should you use a VPN in Seychelles? And in case you do not know what the VPN is, a VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, and what it does, it encrypts your internet traffic. What the VPN does, it will route the traffic to the VPN server before sending it to the destination website. In this case, the operator or the government cannot see that what you are doing. They can only see that you're connected to an IP, which is the one of the VPN server, and then the website you're visiting, they can only see the IP of the VPN server, and this way the traffic cannot be linked to you unless you're logging into the website. Then the site knows that it is you, of course. Well, in most cases I would recommend a particular VPN that's the best in your case. I'm a very big fan of both NordVPN and Surfshark. But in Seychelles, I would actually not really recommend using a VPN at all. And here is why. The thing is, Seychelles is relatively remote. I say relatively, which is bad. It is a remote, multi-island nation. So getting to mainland or continental Africa, which I think Somalia is the closest, and if you say, well, what's the biggest neighboring country, which is Madagascar, which is also at least 1,000 kilometers away from Seychelles. Well, the nearest VPN location, which would be Surfshark or NordVPN, we were talking about 3,000 plus kilometers. And the thing is, if your traffic has to be routed to a different server, that means that the traffic has to come back, and if it's very far away, that means your speeds will go down, 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 down. And data speeds in Seychelles is already on the slower end. I wouldn't really recommend using a VPN when in Seychelles. If you're interested in VPNs in general, make sure to check out NordVPN or Surfshark. It's also in the description and the pinned comment down below. But be aware that if you decide to get yourself a VPN subscription through these links, I will earn a small commission for being an affiliate for them, and it's at no additional cost for you. And it just helps with the channel and the website phonetravelwiz.com. So thank you for that. Okay, number 5. We have done all the foundation and the basic stuff. Now the question is, which SIM card is the best in Seychelles? And the thing is, if you go with both Airtel or cable and wireless, you will be fine. Speeds with both of them is about the same. Coverage wise, they are about the same as well. But that's very focused on coverage, but that's another section for this video. But first we have to talk about mobile data rates in Seychelles in general. And data prices in Seychelles is expensive, at least compared to the African average. So the Alliance for Affordable Internet, also referred to as A4AI, and they found that the average cost of 1 GB of data in Africa is 6.45 USD. Now, cable.co.uk, they also do a global test to see how much data costs, and they found out that in sub-Saharan Africa, which definition is, well, it was a very long list of countries which I will show on the screen. They show that the average in sub-Saharan Africa is 6.91 USD per gigabyte, which is still on the higher end, because the global average, when looking at the world in general, it's a bit more than 4 USD. The specific number is somewhere on the screen right now, but you know, sub-Saharan African average or the average in Africa is still okay. You know, it's not too bad. We're not talking about Zimbabwe and Equatorial Guinea, which is like the most expensive countries to buy 1 GB of data in Africa. Now, back to Seychelles. On average, it will cost you 11.43 USD to get just 1 GB of data, which is quite expensive. I think that puts Seychelles in the top 5 or 6 most expensive place to get 1 GB of data. So that's something to be aware of. And speed wise, it's not that great either, because cable.co.uk found that the mean download speed is about 3 megabits per second, which is understandable if you are such a remote island nation or multi-island nation. 3 megabits per second, that puts you like very low on the list. In the case of cable.co.uk standard, Seychelles was placed on spot 146 of the 200 plus they studied, so yeah, quite slow. Okay, number 7, back to coverage, which we already covered a bit earlier, but coverage wise throughout Seychelles is quite okay. Here we have some pictures again. Even in between the islands, the coverage is quite cool, which is nice. But yeah, there's not much more to be said about that. Okay, number 8, international SIM cards for Seychelles. Some people really prefer to actually use an international SIM card that they can use in multiple places over roaming, because roaming in general is super expensive, and getting a SIM card in every destination you visit can be time consuming and tedious, because you have to switch numbers and stuff like that. Some people don't like that. I really love that, but that's just me. So are there any international SIM cards that I would recommend for Seychelles? There's only one that has reasonable pricing, which is Surfroam. And Surfroam is an international SIM card that you can use in more than 200 destinations, and also in Seychelles. Well, the base rate per megabyte with Surfroam is 1 euro cent, which is about 10 euro 24 euros, because 1 gigabyte has 1024 megabytes, but let's just say 10 euros just to, you know, make it flow easier. And the base price in Seychelles is 3 euro cents, so that would equal to about 31 euros per gigabyte, which is on the more expensive end. So if you decide to use Surfroam, which you can get at phonetravelwiz.com/go/surfroam, make sure to not use it overly too much. Either just use it a little or not at all, or just use it in other destinations where the prices are much lower. There are many places where you just pay 1 cent. Seychelles is a bit on the more, well, I say more expensive end, because the base price is so low. Surfroam is affordable, but you're still better off getting a local SIM card. There are many other international SIM cards out there that will charge you even much more than Surfroam does. Stay away from them. You know, they are just too expensive. Alright, number 9, the prepaid packages offered here in Seychelles. So what I do for my videos is I set a certain requirement for the package that I will cover in this video. They have to at least offer 1 gigabyte of data or 1000 megabyte, all the way up to 5 gigabytes, because if I do much more, then people will get bored. I've done it in the past, people really get bored. So these are the packages that meet the requirements. With both Airtel and cable and wireless, we only have data only packages. In fact, I don't really think they had no combo plans at all. So yeah, that's something to be aware of. You would just see the price and the data offered. One thing that makes cable and wireless interesting for those who like to use Facebook a lot is that most of the plans come with a dedicated Facebook allowance, meaning that if you use Facebook, it will not be deducted from your main allowance. So there might be one reason to take cable or wireless over Airtel. Maybe Airtel will implement something like that in the future. We will see. If they do, I will probably make a follow-up video, or maybe not. And if they do, that will be cool. But if you want to see all the packages offered by both Airtel and Cable & Wireless, make sure to go to phonetwiz.com/Seychelles/guide, and then you can read all the packages offered by both Airtel and Seychelles. But even with the table I just showed you, it's just a nice overview to see, you know, how much you will pay for the amount of data you will actually get. Okay, number 10, which I covered a bit earlier, is international roaming on Seychelles. Beginning of the video I already said that international roaming is expensive, which it is, and also in Seychelles, especially in Seychelles because it's such a remote place, there's no operator that I can think of that has a reasonable roaming rate for Seychelles. So I wouldn't really recommend roaming in Seychelles, but if you actually, you know, if you're really curious to know about the roaming rates, make sure to go to phonetwiz.com/roaming-provider, where I have written roaming guides of many operators around the world. Just see if I've written about your operator yet. Remember, there are like 1,000 operators in the world, so it certainly will take me a while to even get to half of them. Just look for your operator and just see, you know, the roaming rates for in Seychelles. But in most cases, you're better off getting a local SIM card from either Airtel or Cable & Wireless, or use Surfroam, and you should be good. So those are 10 things you actually need to know about buying a SIM card in Seychelles. So if you thought this video was useful, make sure to click the like button and comment down below which operator you're gonna get, or which SIM card. Is it gonna be from Airtel and Cable & Wireless, and just explain why. I'm curious to know. If you've been to Seychelles before, or if you're living in Seychelles, share your experiences with your operator that you used, or both if you did them. That would be great. I'd like to learn more about that. If you like this type of videos, make sure to subscribe. I talk about local SIM cards all the time. Well, not just local SIM cards, I'll talk about international SIM cards and give you tips on how to save money when traveling with your phone. I talk about roam with your provider as well, mobile hotspot, just everything related to traveling with your phone. If you're going to all the places in Africa, make sure to check this playlist with local buying guides of all the places in Africa. And that's it for today. So I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye.